Kevin Osido, governance expert from the County Governance Watch. And last but not least, Dr. Alutalala Mukwana, who is an advocate. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining us on Kivumbi 2017. Let's begin with a look at us making headlines on the dailies this morning. On the front page of the Sunday Standard, there secrets of the night that gave Raila court win. But also on the front page of the Sunday Standard, 8 Moi Girls students killed in fire. Heartbreaking pictures there of the aftermath of those fires. We also have the headline on the Sunday Nation this morning: police quiz students as 8 girls perish in dorm fire. We'll be discussing this in a few moments, but gentlemen, let's begin there. This was a story that took the country by storm yesterday. 8 young lives have already been cut short, bringing the issue of safety in our schools to the forefront, really. Kaguche, perhaps your thoughts on the events of yesterday?
It is unfortunate, and I would want to pass my condolences to the families that may have lost their loved ones, and also to the school and even the school kids. I realized yesterday they were very traumatized, as having witnessed their colleagues actually going down. It's really a difficult thing. Now, the issues of fires in Kenya seems to have taken a very serious route now in our country, especially in the second term and third term, especially when we are about to do exams. What has been the better part of it that is that it has not been so, we have not had fatal incidences. And so at times when you get to see fatal incidences, you actually wonder whether some of these things are natural or they are man-made. But all the same, we do have a problem with the school fires. As you understand, this weekend we have had about 3 of them.
Right.
And we hope that something can really be done. I really don't know, but it seems to be an issue which the schools actually would get to control because it is so systematic, and now it has taken a pattern that can almost be predictable. And so if I were a school principal, even the Ministry of Education, one of the things they should now be doing is to ensure that there is nothing fishy which is happening around the school. And they need to tighten even intelligence, even in school, so that then they know when some of these things are about to happen. Because it can't just be natural that we have fires during this period of time. I do not want to predict or to, especially on this fire in Moi Girls, it seems to have had probably other issues. But where in incidents where we have just dormitories being burned down, libraries and school offices, there seems to be some input even from within the community around the school. And it's something that needs to be investigated properly and stopped. And of course, it's also feared that it is something that has to do also with the exams that are conducted. Yeah, so it's something that we need to do. The issues of electrical faults and all those other issues are really issues of public health, issues that we need to look at as public safety. And we need to ensure that also schools, we probably also ensure that the capacity and the structures are more improved to ensure that when we have those kind of incidences, there is a way that we can evacuate the students. I'm told in some schools we have up to triple deckers now. Before we knew of the double deckers, but now I'm told in some schools you have triple deckers. If you have a triple decker and the dormitory itself is congested, and then you have a fire, and sometimes they even close the back doors, then of course it becomes a problem to students to escape.
Osido, your thoughts on this? And first of all, do Kenyans learn from past mistakes? Because last year, it was pretty much a spree. We saw a spate of arson in schools, rather. There was a probe that was launched into the root cause, as well as the safety of these students, despite the cause of this. Have you, in your view, especially from a county perspective, do you feel that the Ministry of Education has followed up enough on these same rules, the safety rules that it gazetted?
I join my colleagues and other Kenyans to express my sincere heartfelt condolences to the families and these pupils. But whether we learn or not, it's quite unfortunate because we expected that with the coming in of Dr. Matiang'i into the ministry, then we would expect the kind of vibrance and the zeal that he showed up with in office, and the crackdown that we then saw happening after, especially the reports on the various arsons in the counties was reported. And it is true that there was a probe which was launched, and whether Kenyans learn or not is one thing and the other, because there are people who learn and there are people who just make the deliberate decision not to learn. And for the few who make this deliberate decision not to learn, and that is where we have the biggest problem. Because then if you look at that report, because I've partially done so, there are lots of serious recommendations that were made. And one of the things that probably I could pick up is the role of the students or the pupils in decision-making processes in the schools. And Michelle, even as we were closing schools last term, there are a number of schools that went on strike. It's just that it was that they were never reported. But the main reason why that happened was that there are teachers who did not want the schools to close as per the already determined calendar. And so the students were like, our other friends have gone home, why are we still in school? And some of these are also perpetuated by teachers. And so this presents the aspect of what is the role of the students in decision-making processes? What is the role of the prefects? And the second thing is intelligence gathering in the schools, because I still do not believe that such serious fires can take place in school. Having been a prefect myself in those days, you know, and again being a student leader at the university, I do not believe that these kind of things will just happen like that, unless otherwise they are pre-planned and there are people who will know that there is at this time, a point in time, there's going to be an attack. It's being planned by so and so, and so how then the school administration will give a safe ground for these pupils to be able to present those reports to the teachers and then action to be taken. The third thing, Michelle, is the role of the various school administrative bodies. And I'm talking about county directors of education, I'm talking about the principals, and then I'm talking about the teachers on duty as at the point of that week when such kind of things are happening. This space needs to be expanded so that then we are able to see a close interaction between the teachers, the staff of the schools, and of course the pupils. And I'm happy because I watched last night on KTN when in Kisumu one of the teachers was saying more or less a paraphrased report that she was able to assemble the students, and then as she was assembling the pupils off to the parade ground, there was someone shouting at the back of the school, fire, 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 and this was happening in Sigoti in Kisumu. What this means that how do we therefore even incorporate the community around the schools to be able also to take part in safeguarding the schools? And all these are issues that have been raised in the report of the task force, which Dr. Matiang'i was able to bring up. We have been running a program in schools called Marching Through Mentorship. And what this does is to be able to bring in those who have made it in these communities to talk to the pupils. And we've seen massive improvement, especially in some of the schools in which we've been able to go into, and even the openness with which the pupils will be able to share their issues, because students, pupils are human beings. When exams show up, they are, of course, they are bound to panic, they are bound to get afraid. All of us have been afraid of certain things, especially exams at some point. But how that fear is also managed, because teachers have expectations, and the expectations of the teachers are to be top 100 in the country. How are these expectations therefore managed, and how are they communicated to the pupils so that they are able to know that even that